All right, so tonight I'm really excited to get the opportunity to review and sort of have a first look at the Tarp Tent ArcDome ULTRA. Tarp Tent sent me this. I've actually only got it last night, and tonight I'm going to take it up, give it a test, speak to you about my thoughts and observations, and in the morning sort of give you my final thoughts on how I've actually found it during this camp, and then hopefully I'll get the opportunity to do a more detailed review in the next couple of weeks. So what are my thoughts so far on this ArcDome ULTRA from Tarp Tent? So to begin with, I just assembled the poles, and these are the carbon poles, the 9.3mm Eastern Cyclones, and I must say I actually quite like them. And then I just pegged the tent out at the windward end with the three sort of like stakeout points. They're a combination of like a guy line and a stakeout, so it serves like a double purpose. Threading the poles through the pole sleeves now, to begin with this Ultra fabric, it is actually really difficult. So if you get one of these tents and you struggle with that, I can assure you that fabric softens up, and the inside of the pole sleeves are actually very slippy, and after a while the poles just go through the pole sleeves like an absolute treat. I mean, it's really good. So pushing up the tent up, really good. I've set out, initially just the lower guy lines, and it makes the tent secure, and there's extra guy lines on the tent there as well. So far regarding the setup, straightforward, definitely very straightforward. So these sort of are the guy lines, and actually Tarp Tent sent me over their new Ultra guy line cord. I think it's 2.3mm, and it has a 273 kilograms of breaking strength, and it's completely reflective as well, so really nice. And I have to be honest and say I actually really like it, and I'll be buying a bunch of it, so if you don't buy it quickly, I'll have bought it all out, because I really do like it. And then there's a couple of tie-outs, kind of in the middle of all the panels. These actually feel, very well made and very strong, so they're kind of here at the back of the tent or front of it, whatever you want to say, and at both sides. And the points here, this Ultra fabric, like it does feel really burly and thick. Alright, so just to give you a bit of an idea of the actual interior space in this tent, I'm 6'1" or 184 centimetres. Really good sort of shoulder room, decent head room. I'm not actually in the middle of the tent. There's good headroom here. So the actual size is good. I think it's wide enough for wide pads and long enough for long pads, and it has that asymmetric design, which is nice. Longer in one corner, like diagonally like that. Then other features, you have a little hanging loop, just here. I think it's just slightly out of camera, but I'll show you that in a moment. You've got two pockets up here, two mesh pockets. It's a solid inner on this tent, but Tarp Tent did actually send me the mesh one as well, and we'll have a look at that when I fully review the tent. And then I've got a pocket, just here, the full length of the tent. And then behind me here, I have another good pocket, so it's nice to see you've actually got 4 excellent pockets in this tent. Also, ventilation hoods are quite good, and I like the way they're designed, so that's good. But the fly sheet in this tent does come a little closer to the ground than some other Tarp tents, but I don't see that being any form of an issue. It's just to seal out sort of weather and rain and snow. So that's really about it so far. What I'll do is I'll obviously spend the night in the tent and talk you through that just in the morning and give you my sort of final thoughts. Okay, so good morning. Just time for a quick hot chocolate this morning. A couple of things that I really liked about the tent last night. First of all, there really is good space in the tent. Certainly just for me as one person, space absolutely fantastic. I must also say that the inner is quite tight, and last night the wind was about 20 to 30 miles per hour, and I felt very cocooned from the weather, and that's just exactly what I really love in a tent, so that was really good. And here just there is, I've got everything pretty much zipped up this morning, so this is just demonstrating exactly what the vestibule's like and how practical that is. And I'm not worried. This is a canister top stove, and I'm not worried at all well, obviously I'm concerned about where it's positioned, but I mean, I've just got so much room, and I'm quite happy to let that sort of work away there. So there were my sort of observations from last night. The other bits and pieces, would just be, I suppose, the features of the tent. So the pitching's pretty easy. And then obviously it is self-supporting and freestanding, so you can then move it around if you want to, so it has that aspect of it. And then it's just down to the TNT fabric. You know, I have experience of this fabric for over a year in the Scarp 1, and there's no sign of any delamination. The fabric has softened up, it's easier to work with. The pack size is now, to begin with, was a little bit more than a sil nylon equivalent, but now the pack size is just the same because the fabric has softened up. So I actually do really like the fabric, and I feel it's definitely very, very, very next generation, and it has the benefit that it doesn't absorb any water, and it comes fully factory taped and or bonded, so you have nothing to do to it. You don't have to seam seal it. I haven't noticed in any other Tarp tents there's little zipper toggles, and I normally put these on myself, so it's nice to see that sort of attention to detail. For the size of the tent and volume of the tent, and the fact that it only has 2 poles, it is actually quite stable, and there's a lot of sort of guy out points. So I'm not going to spend loads and loads of time rabbiting on about it. I actually like the tent. It's worked well for me. It's a lot bigger than I thought. I like all the little, you know, there's double tie backs for the doors. You know, there's one of these guy points. This is a guy point on the other side, and it has a toggle on it here for the door tie backs. And incidentally, there's 2 door tie backs. It's a large door. Nothing worse than a large door and only 1 tie back, because it soon comes loose. You've got 2 on it. So it's well, you know, thought out, and it's worked well, and it definitely feels next generation and great space. Yeah. So so far, I hope to get a few more camps in it, but so far I would highly recommend it, especially after having experience with the Ultra fabric. It's not a massive breakthrough over sil nylon, but it definitely does have some advantages, and I think it works pretty well in this tent.